Year, New Year's Eve. The last day of the year, New Year's Eve, is on 31 December. In America and Great Britain, many people go to parties. At midnight, it is traditional to sing the old Scottish song, Auld Lang Syne. This song celebrates friendship. In London, lots of people go to Trafalgar Square and wait for the famous Bell Big Ben to strike midnight. Some people jump into the fountains. In New York City, lots of people go to Times Square. At midnight, the words Happy New Year appear on an electronic sign. People cheer and there is a lot of noise. In some American cities, office workers throw their old calendars out of the windows on 31 December. They are throwing the old year away. By the evening, there is of paper in the streets. New Year's Day. In many ancient civilizations, the season controlled the calendar and the new year began on the first day of spring. But in 45 BC, the Roman Emperor Julius Caesar created a new calendar. It was called the Julian calendar from Julius. The first day of the new year became 1 January. The name January comes from Janus, the Roman god of doors. Janus was therefore also the god of beginnings. On New Year's Day, it is called in many parts of the United States, but in California and many southern states, it is warm and sunny. In these places, there are parades and American football games. These football games, after the end of the normal football season, are called bowl games. Each region has its parade and bowl game. Once in the new year, we had to take my cousin to the hospital because she had choked on the grapes.
The third Monday in January, America celebrates Martin Luther King Day. It is celebrated since 1983. Martin Luther King was an important person in the American civil rights movement. He believed in non-violence. Dr. King was born on 15 January 1929 in Atlanta. He became a Baptist minister. At that time, black people couldn't use certain types of public transport, the school or churches. Dr. King's protecting in public and the police arrested him. In 1955, one lady refused to give her seat to a white person and police arrested the lady. No black person used a bus for 382 days. The Supreme Court stopped the segregation on public transport. After this victory, Dr. King was famous. He organized another peaceful protest with children and adults. The police attacked them with dogs and water. Televisions and newspapers showed this picture around the world. In 1963, Dr. King helped to organize the Civil Rights March. On that day, he gave his most famous speech, I Have a Dream. In 1964, America passed the Civil Rights Act. This changed the life of African Americans, and Dr. King won the Nobel Peace Prize. On 4 April 1968, assassinate Dr. King in Memphis. Every year, Americans remember Dr. King's work by celebrating this national holiday.
Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is also called the Spring Festival or the Lunar New Year. The exact date of the Chinese New Year changes from year to year, but is always between 21 January and 19 February. In ancient China, people used the moon to calculate time, and in the Chinese lunar calendar, every month begins with the new moon. Every year of the Chinese calendar has an animal's name. These animals are the rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, cockerel, dog, and pig. Chinese families celebrate the New Year for 2 weeks. They decorate their houses, towns, and villages with colored lanterns, flowers, and many other decorations. They carefully clean the house and throw away old things. It is very important for the Chinese to be with their families on New Year's Eve. On this occasion, the family eats a big, delicious meal together. Fish is always part of the dinner, along with rice, different meats, and vegetables. On New Year's Day, the Chinese wear new clothes to symbolize the new year. Red is a popular color because the Chinese believe that it is lucky. There are a lot of big Chinese communities outside China, in many big cities such as London, New York, and San Francisco. There are areas called Chinatown. In these areas, there are many Chinese shops and restaurants. Chinese New Year is a big celebration both for the Chinese and the local people of these areas. And there are a lot of colorful decorations in the streets of every Chinatown. A very important celebration is the parade on New Year's Day, when there are a lot of spectacular floats. The dragon is an important part of the parade because people believe it is noble and lucky. In the parade, a dragon can sometimes be 25 meters long and can have about 60 men move under its body and tail. Lion dancing is an ancient Chinese tradition, and lion dancers are always part of the parade. 2 men usually move under each lion. It has a big head and a long body. There are also noisy fireworks. The Chinese believe that the noise frightens evil spirits. During the parade, children represent the 12 animals of the Chinese calendar. There are also acrobats and musicians in beautiful costumes. Most of the costumes and masks in the parade come from China. Curiosity: 1/6 of the world people celebrate it. Chinese New Year has become one of the world's most celebrated festivals.
In the United States, people celebrate President's Day on the third Monday of February. This festivity celebrates the birthdays of 2 great presidents, George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. George Washington. George Washington was born on 22 February 1732 in Virginia. At this time, America was still a British colony. As the age of 20, Washington became a soldier with the British Army and formed against French colonies in America. In 1759, he married and became the owner of a big plantation. He also became interested in politics. In 1765, the American colonies began to projects against Great Britain. Abraham Lincoln. Another great president, Abraham Lincoln, was born on 12 February 1809 in Kentucky. As a child, Lincoln only went to school for about a year, but he loved reading and studying. He wanted to learn. When he was a young man, Lincoln decided to enter politics in idioms and also to study land. National Cemetery at the place of the battle. He gave a famous speech called the Gettysburg Address expressing the principles of democratic government. Curiosity. Father's Day is commemorated in Spain since 1948. Fin.
On 14 February, lovers celebrate Valentine's Day. People in love give each other cards and presents, flowers, special rose, chocolate or jewelry. In the evening, there are special parties and couples sometimes go to a restaurant for a romantic dinner. In New York City, on the top of the Empire State Building, there are red lights on Valentine's Day. Where does Valentine's Day come from? The ancient Roman festival of Lupercalia was on 15 February. On this day, young men took the names of young women out of a boys. The couple formed in this way stayed together until the next Lupercalia. As usual, the Christian church wanted to replace pagan festival with Christian festival. So, at the end of the 5th century, Pope Gerald created Valentine's Day of 14 February. Nobody knows exactly what Valentine was. There are three possibilities. Some people think he was a Christian priest when Claudius II was the Roman Empire. When he needed a lot of soldiers for him, Emperor Claudius did not permit marriages. But Valentines performed marriages secretly. The authorities discovered this and executed him in AD 270 to Valentines in the 5th century. The Romans executed them because they were Christian. A legend said that one of them fell in love with the daughter of the prison keeper. Before his execution, he wrote a letter to her. He signed it from your Valentines. Valentine cards. European immigrants took the Valentine's tradition of America. They made beautiful Valentine's cards. On the outside of the cards, they painted butterflies, flowers, cupids, and hearts, and on the inside, they wrote original poems. In 1847, in America, Esther Howland created the first commercial card. People could then buy cards in shops. Today, few people make Valentine's cards. They buy them. Most cards are romantic, but some are humorous. In America, many people also send cards to parents, relatives, and friends as a sign of friendship. In Great Britain, this is not common. Valentine's cards are for lovers. However, the cards are usually anonymous, even between husband and wife. People don't sign their names. They sign the card with a question mark, and they do not sign card at all. In the United States, young school children take to school the same number of Valentine's cards as the number of children in the class. There is no name on the envelope, but each child writes their name inside the cards. On Valentine's Day, children make colorful red and pink decoration for their classroom and the teacher gives the cards and some sweet to every child. Curiosity. Men spend more money on Valentine's Day than women.
St. Patrick Day on 17th of March is the most important Irish festival. St. Patrick is a patron saint of Ireland. He probably born in Wales. There are legends about St. Patrick. One legend says he took all the snakes of Ireland and threw by a mountain. In Ireland, this day is an important religious holiday. Businesses are closed and people go to the church. In 1995, the Irish government started this festival of 4 days in the city of Dublin. In this day are a lot of tricolor flags, the same of Ireland. Green represent the Catholics, orange the Protestant, and white the peace. In United States, the first St. Patrick's Day was in Boston in 1737. The Irish believe that green is a lucky color, and a lot of people wear green clothes. In United States, if you haven't anything green, the people have to pinch you. In the United States, isn't a religious festival, it's a party for young persons.
When we speak about Easter, we think in bunnies, chickens, eggs, and chocolate surprises. But Easter isn't only a happy and colorful festival, it's the most important festivity for Christians too. But non-Christians celebrate some traditions about the nature and the spring. The first question is, when do we celebrate Easter? We celebrate Easter between 22 March and 25 April, but the official Easter day is the first Sunday after the full moon. How began the Easter? The word Easter comes from the name of a European goddess, Easter. A lot of years ago, pagans celebrated spring and the beginning of new life. But then, Christianity became important and the Christians replaced pagan festivals. Easter today. Today we still use some symbols from pagan spring festivals, like the flowers and eggs or rabbits. Flowers and eggs mean a new life, and rabbits mean fertility. American and British children paint Easter eggs with bright colors. They celebrate Easter egg hunts. The parents hide eggs and ask their children to find them. The child with the most eggs is the winner. But there are many games that you can play with eggs. For example, you can roll eggs down a hill or make Easter egg races. For Christians, the week before Easter is Holy Week, and they celebrated it with some religious festivals and traditions. Stuffs and merchandising. Easter is the perfect season for the shopping centers and markets. There are a lot of sweets about Easter. They earn money with Easter products such as chocolate eggs, lollipops, and sweet bunnies. It is a commercial festivity, but they make cute things and I love it. Typical food. Families usually spend Easter Day together. The traditional Easter meal is roast lamb, new potatoes, peas, and other vegetables. There are hot cross buns. They are typical on Good Friday in Britain. They are sweet cakes with a cross who represents Jesus Christ's death on the cross. Maybe the chocolate eggs are the most typical food of this festivity. Some eggs have a surprise in them, others are just empty chocolate eggs. I have never celebrated the Easter, but when I was a child, my mom hides secret little papers and I have to find them. Then, at the end, the last paper says where is the final surprise. It was chocolate bars, popcorns, or other sweet. It was very funny. Well, sure you have learned some things about Easter, so my work is done. Goodbye.
May Day. We celebrate the coming of summer on the first day of May. In many countries, 1st May is now a festival celebrating labor, but originally this day was an actual festival to celebrate new life and welcome to warmer weather. Many ancient cultures had festivals at this time of the year. The Celts celebrated the beginning of the summer on the night before 1st May. The name of this festival was Beltane. It was the opposite of Samhain, the festival celebrating the beginning of winter. On the night of Beltane, the Celts made big bonfires. And this time of the year, the Romans had a festivity called Floralia, in honor of Flora, the goddess of flowers and spring. When they invaded Britain, they brought the festivity with them. During the Middle Ages, May Day was one of the most important days in the year. Everybody got up early and went maying. They went into the country to collect flowers and branches of trees to decorate their homes. Then there were games and singing and dancing. The most important dance was around the maypole. People choose a girl from the village to be the Queen of the May. In Great Britain, May Day is a public holiday, but it's not always on the 1st of May. It is on the first Monday in May. It is much less important than the Middle Ages, but there are still some traditions. In traditional maypole dancings, children dance around the maypole. The maypole, the ancient symbol of the life, was many colorful ribbons on it. The ribbons represented the rays of the sun. You can also see Morris dancing on May Day. This kind of dancing probably came from Spain in the 15th century, but it is a very British tradition now. Morris dancers dance with handkerchief and bells. They move their feet a lot to make their bells ring. This was to wake up the spirits in the earth after winter. One of the most popular May Day celebrations in the country take place in Oxford. People get up at 6 o'clock and they go to Magdalen Bridge to listen madrigals by the choir of the university. In this bridge there is one recent and dangerous tradition of May Day. It is to jump from the bridge to the river.
Hi, I'm Virginia and I'm going to talk about Independence Day. Well, it took place the 4th of July, and Americans remembered the idea of liberty, equality and opportunity for everybody. In the 18th century, there were 13 British colonies in America. But starting in 1765, these colonies began to protest. They did not like paying high taxes to Great Britain, and they want America to become an independent nation with its own government. The Boston Tea Party is the most famous of these act of protest. In 1773, the British Parliament put a new tax on tea. The American colonies were very angry, so on 16 December of 1773, a group of colonies in Boston put for Native American clothes, went onto 3 British ships, and threw 342 boxes of tea into the sea. The British Parliament reacted with severe laws, but they protested even more. A group of 56, Americans wrote the Declaration of the Independence. On the 4th of July of 1776, approved this document. The war continued after the Declaration of the Independence. In 1781, Americans and French soldiers won an important battle in Yorktown, Virginia. In 1783, America and Great Britain signed the final peace treaty in Paris. The American colonies want a flag for their new country. They were 13, a red and white stripe, and a circle of 13 white stars on a blue-black ground. Today, Americans celebrate 4th of July in different ways. There is the American flag in public buildings and schools. Every city and town organize celebrations, and there are red, white, and blue decorations on the streets. In the east, there are historic parades with people in costumes from the 18th century. In the west, there are rodeos, events with cowboys. The past year, my father bought an American flag and he put it on the balcony. Everybody asked, "Are you American? Are you Brazil? Are you?" Yeah, it was very funny.
Hey, I'm going to talk about the Notting Hill Carnival. It's an annual event that has taken place in London since 1966. We're on the street of Notting Hill, in Royal Grove of Kensington and Chelsea. When it's August over 2 days, the August Bank holiday, Monday and the Persian Sunday. It is led by members of the British West Indian community and attracts around 1 million people usually. Make it one of the world's largest street festivals and a significant event in Black British culture. Curiosity, in 2006, the UK public voted in onto the League of Economy of England.
Columbus Day. On the second Monday of October, Americans celebrate Columbus Day. They remember Christopher Columbus' voyage to America in 1492. The Voyage of Columbus. Christopher Columbus was born in 1451 in Genoa, a city on the northwest coast of Italy. Many people at this time thought the world was flat, but others, Columbus included, believed that the world was round. Columbus wanted to test this idea. He first went to the sea when he was only 14 years old. When he was only 23, he had the idea to go to India, China, and Japan by sailing of the west. If the world was round, this was possible, but he needed money, ships, and men. He asked a lot of people for support, including the kings of Portugal, England, and France. But he got no help. Then he explained his idea to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain. They were interested and after some years decided to help him. They gave 3 ships, the Santa Maria, the Niña and the Pinta. On the 3rd of August in 1492, Columbus and the sailors left Palos. The voyage was long and difficult, but the 3 ships arrived at the islands of San Salvador in the Bahamas on 12 of October in 1492. Columbus claimed these new lands for Spain, celebrating Columbus Day. The first celebration of Columbus Day was on the 12th of October in 1792 in New York City, 300 years after Columbus' voyage. 400 years after the discovery of the New World, the city of Chicago celebrated Columbus' discovery with the Great Columbian Exposition. The exhibition started in May 1892 and finishing in October. Today, many Americans celebrate Columbus Day with colorful parades. The parades are very long, with big floats dedicated to Columbus and marching bands. They remember that the arrival of Columbus meant the beginning of the domination of Native Americans. Curiosity: Irish and Italian immigrants proudly pointed to Columbus' Roman Catholic religion to fight the prejudice they experienced in their adopted country, and in 1882 they founded the Kings of Columbus, now the world's largest Catholic service organization. But during the late 20th century, Native Americans bristled at the notion of Columbus' discovery, feeling that their ancestral land didn't need discovery.
Halloween. October 31st is Halloween. The origin of Halloween. Halloween has 30's origin. The 30 calendar was in 2 parts, summers and winters. Summer was from May to the end of October, and winter was from November to the end of April. The ancient 30 festivity Samhain celebrate the end of the year, the start of winter. It began of the evening of October 31st and the next day. Druids were 30 priests on October 31st. They performed religious rituals and talked about future events. The Celts believed that ghosts, witches, and evil spirits returned of the night of October 31st. That evil spirits entered the body of a person or an animal. The colors of Halloween, orange and black, are 30 origins. Orange was the color of the harvest, and black was the color of winter. The Druids believed that black cats have become symbols of Halloween. The Romans invaded Great Britain in 43 AD. After the invasion, Samhain became a harvest festival, and on October 31st, the Romans honored the goddess of fruit trees Panama. The Roman Catholic Church put Christian festivities in the place of pre-Christian festivities. In the 8th century, the Church decided to call 1st November and Saint Day. The evening of 31st of October was All Hallows Eve. This became Halloween. Celebrating Halloween today. Halloween celebrated in USA and has become popular in Europe. Too many children and adults go to Halloween parties. wearing scary costumes and masks. American children take their costumes and masks on school. Some typical Halloween costumes are witches, ghosts. Many parents make the costumes, but some prefer to buy them. In the afternoon, the children put on their costumes and have a Halloween party and school. Pumpkins, ghosts, witches, and bats decorate the school. There are, of course, party games. One is called bombing for apples. To play this game, you put water and apple a big bowl. The apple stays on top of water. You must take on apple out of the water with your teeth, but you can use your hands. It is a popular tradition in the USA to buy a big pumpkin and make jack-o'-lantern. This tradition originated in Great Britain and Ireland, when people frightened evil spirits, but they didn't use pumpkins then. They used big turnips. In the United States, they weren't any turnips used pumpkins. Another popular Halloween tradition is trick or treating. Today, children and teenagers go trick or treat. Each evening, they visit their neighbor's house in their costumes. With the door open, they say trick or treat. People usually give them sweets or money, but when people don't give them a treat, the children play a trick. They sometimes write on windows with soap or even throw an egg at the front door of the house. Halloween is not just for children. Many teenagers and adults wear costumes and go to parties on Halloween night.
Guy Fawkes Night, also known as Bonfire Night, is a British festivity that takes place on 5th of November. But first of all, who was Guy Fawkes? In 1534, the situation of the Roman Catholic Church changed. King Henry VIII wants to divorce his wife because she couldn't have children and marry another woman. The Catholic Church didn't allow this, so he left the church and started the Church of England. In 1605, the king and leader was James I. He passed its laws to the Roman Catholics. One of them being paying a lot of money for not working on the Church of England. A group of Catholics planned to blow up the parliament with the king inside. The plan was called Gunpowder Plot. The leader, Robert Catesby, and the others put 36 barrels under the palace. Guy Fawkes waited to light them, but the soldiers discovered the plot and Guy Fawkes was took to the Tower of London. They asked him about the plot, but he refused to talk. So they tortured him until he told everything. Soldiers arrested and killed the other men, and in 1606, Guy Fawkes and the other were hanged. Now, how is Guy Fawkes Night celebrated? Children often make a guy to represent Guy Fawkes. They fill all clothes with newspaper. They make a head with fabric and draw a face on it. Then, they put the guy into the bonfire and burn it. Some people make bonfires in their gardens, but others prefer to buy tickets and go to see a big public representation of the bonfire with the guy in their town. Children love it a lot. Did you know this? Anonymous Mask was inspired by Guy Fawkes.
Thanksgiving. Americans of all religions celebrate Thanksgiving on the fourth Thursday of November. Children do not go to school, and most businesses close for 4 days. Thanksgiving is a special day for families, and the people travel great distances to be with their families for this occasion. Why is Thanksgiving an important day? The tradition starts with the Pilgrim Fathers. They were the founders of a colony in North America. These people were Puritans. They were against the Church of England and suffered religious persecution in England. They want to start a new life in a new country. Eventually, on 6th of September 1620, 102 men, women and children left Plymouth in southwest England on a ship called the Mayflower. The voyage was difficult. 2 pilgrims died, but 2 were born. On 11th of December of 1620, they landed on the northeast coast of North America. They called this area Plymouth. It was almost winter and there wasn't much food. They immediately built small houses, but it was too late to grow crops. The winter was very long and cold, and half of the pilgrims died. In the spring, a Native American called Squanto helped 2 pilgrims. He taught them how to grow corn and how to hunt and fish. Soon the pilgrims and the Wampanoag Native Americans became friends. The pilgrims grew crops and the summer harvest was excellent. By November 1620, everyone had food and a home. There was hope for the future. William Bradford was the governor of the Pilgrims colony. He decided to celebrate with a dinner for the Pilgrims and about 90 Native Americans. He wanted to thank God. This was the first Thanksgiving dinner and it continued for 3 days. A traditional Thanksgiving. Today, the traditional Thanksgiving meal is similar to the first. People eat roast turkey and cranberry sauce, potatoes, corn, and pumpkin pie. New York City celebrates with Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. This parade is very famous, and more than 2 million people go to see it every year.
Christians in many parts of the world celebrate Christmas on 25 December. This festivity celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ. Members of the Russian and Serb Orthodox Church celebrate on 7 January. Christmas comes from the Victorian period when Victoria was queen in 1837 to 1901. Christmas then starts to become an important festivity. It was a time for the family to be together and a time to enjoy special foods, music, carols, and games. In Britain, there were more things to buy in shops, and the tradition of giving presents grew. Charles Dickens described the Victorian Christmas in his Christmas story, especially in A Christmas Carol in 1843. In this story, Dickens shows the difference between the rich and the poor in Victorian society during Christmas celebrations. When we think of Christmas, we think of the Christmas tree. The tradition of the Christmas tree comes from Germany. Germans had a fir tree on their homes and they decorated with biscuits and candles. In Great Britain, the Christmas tree became popular after 1840 when Queen Victoria married Prince Albert, a German. He brought the tradition of the Christmas tree to be royal family. People decorate the tree with colored lights, and at the top of the tree they usually put an angel or a star. They also like to decorate their homes and gardens with other Christmas symbols such as holly, mistletoe, and paper decorations.
Christmas at the Rockefeller Center in New York City. Tradition started in 1947 when the Norwegians wanted to thank the British for their help during World War II. America's most famous Christmas tree is at the Rockefeller Center on Fifth Avenue in New York City. This spectacular Christmas tree has about 5 miles of lights. Shopping for Christmas presents can be fun. There are always a lot of people in the shops looking for the right present for their family and friends. The shop windows have decoration, and many towns and cities put Christmas tree and other Christmas decoration in the shopping streets. If you want to buy toys, in London there is a great toy shop called Harley's. Christmas is a happy time, but it is also a time to help and remember others. No one wants to be alone at Christmas. In Great Britain and America, people send Christmas cards to their friends and relatives. They usually buy boxes of Christmas cards, often from charity organizations. The design was a family party. Children and adults usually open their presents on Christmas morning around the Christmas tree, or sometimes even in bed. This is a very happy moment, especially for the children. In Great Britain, there is a big Christmas lunch with special foods. They play games and watch Christmas films on television. In the evening, they have a big Christmas dinner with lots of special foods. On 26 December, Stephen Day in the Christian calendar, people in America go back to work, but in Britain, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand they don't. This name has two possible origins. Others say it has this name because churches had boxes for the poor. People put money in these boxes, and the churches opened them on 26 December and gave the money to the poor. Anécdota. Pues me pasó que en Navidad fui abajo el día de Papá Noel a beber agua y entonces me encontré a mi padre poniendo los regalos y pues ahí me enteré de que ya no existía Papá Noel ni los Reyes ni nada cuando tenía 10 años y ya está. Esa es mi anécdota.
Christmas foods. The traditional Christmas dinner consists of roast turkey and vegetables, followed by special desserts. Typical British desserts are mince pies and pudding, while in America, fruit cake and pumpkin pie are popular. Other typical Christmas foods are roast ham, Yule logs, and cake. Father Christmas. His name is based on Saint Nicholas. He was a Christian bishop of Myra in the 4th century. He was famous because of his good deeds. In the 18th century, Dutch settlers took the tradition of Santa Claus to New York, and it gradually became Santa Claus, and Father Christmas and Santa Claus became the same person. Thomas Nast created the modern image of Santa Claus. He's a happy old man with a white beard, wearing a red suit. He rides a sleigh pulled by a reindeer and goes down the chimney with toys.
Bye.